Hi, it is Thursday, April 23rd. Had to check that. Yeah, it's Thursday. It's April 23rd. It is earlier in the day than I would usually be doing this. So it's 12:30 at the moment. Usually I'm coaching until about 1 or working with clients. I had a client need to adjust today, so it ended up it's funny how the universe will work sometimes. Uh, the pup's not feeling well, unfortunately. She's been pretty sick. Food switch kind of recently. We do like a food ordered meal from her son. Ever since the recipe changed, she's not been doing so hot. So, anyways, the last couple days though, now she's thrown up a couple times, and last night again 2 in the morning. So I'm taking her to the vet today just to make sure she's doing okay at 3:30. And I just so happened, I don't always have my practice bag. I do try to leave it in my car, but the last week I had taken it out so I could wash all my braces, my shoes, all that stuff. I wasn't sure if I had my practice stuff in my car. Well, I did. So I am right now heading to practice. So again, but it's so interesting sometimes how the universe just makes things happen. So done with work earlier today, which also works out well because I have a jam-packed day tomorrow, and I'm going to be coaching Saturday, so hour-wise. This was probably good. So I'm going to the cheer gym now that I have the ability to do so. So life opened up. I'm able to practice, so I'll be there in about 10 minutes. I'm probably only going to practice today for an hour 20, hour 40, maybe. This probably isn't. When I say probably push 2 hours, it can't, because I do need to get home, get the pup, and then we're going to get on our way to the vet. And we just got a new shipment of her food yesterday, which now I'm not giving this to her. So it's perfectly fine food, it's just not for her. So I am taking it to a what's it called? It's like a food pantry, but for pets, I found. And they do take food donations, and so I'm going to drop that after as well. Hazel and I are going to take a little drive, and I think because we'll be out and about, we might actually venture to a park today for park. Let's get some time outside. Hopefully she's got the energy for that. Again, she's just been so sick to her stomach now for weeks. I feel so bad. The last couple days, and I have somebody who comes regularly, daily, to spend time with Hazel during the day because I'm gone all day. She even made note that the last day or two, she's like, her energy just seems a bit less. But yeah, if you can't hold anything down, you're gonna feel drowsy, lethargic. So I don't know if she's gonna feel super up to going for a park walk, but we'll see. Maybe. It's beautiful out here, and she loves to sunbathe. That girl will just lay in the sun. She's a pit lab mix, and so she loves the sunshine. It's so funny, beach whale style, just land seal. So we'll see what that holds. I'm on my way to practice now. I feel really good. I have focused a lot this week on doing things to help my body. So a lot of foam rolling. I've been working with a trigger point ball. I've been spending time with a hypervolt, more than my usual, and stretching. And so I know I mentioned this, but Sunday my hip kind of locked up. I'm not feeling that, and so I'm going to do a very long warm-up, a lot of activation of my glute, hamstrings, and core to hopefully make sure my hip is not compensating for anything. I'm going to review my choreography first, when I say review the choreography, the stuff Donnell and I have been working on, I'm going to review it first while I'm fresh before, to let my body warm up a little bit more before I do my routine runs, because I don't want this part to be like, I don't know. I want to be slop when I'm doing my routine runs and then waiting until the routine runs are done to then go over the choreography. I really want to see what this looks like now that I'm bringing in my essence, my style to what we've done. And I really appreciated that. It was actually a point that he had made to me. I want to say Monday night, maybe. I sent some practice videos his way, and he had said that, like, I think at one point he actually said, I like the way you did that better. Like, that worked for you. And now it's about finding, like, me in the movement, right? Everybody's got their own way of delivering, their own way their body moves, what looks correct for how your body moves. And so anyways, I'm going to warm up. I'm going to practice, review the choreography, I'm going to watch it back a couple times. And then I will get to my routine runs, which definitely need to get done today because that did not happen Sunday. So I'll do that, and then anytime I may have remaining, I'll break down probably more. I'll probably go back to I'm going to assume I'm going to go back to choreography. I don't know if I'm going to go heavy on skill work today. More on the side of, I don't want to, my hips feeling good. I don't want to push it too much. And so I feel like the routine runs in and of themselves are, I mean, obviously they're challenging, they're hard. I think doing the routine runs and then calling it a day of skill work gives my body then Friday, Saturday, find recovery more so. And then Sunday I'm back at it, and hopefully Sunday I can work on breaking things down a little bit more. Again, we'll see how I feel, obviously. So that's my plan. So I will check in once I'm through practice for a quick update after. All right, mid-practice check-in. All the choreography sections I felt good about. I'm definitely starting to find my style and how it fits. I've got one thing that I want to revisit, but I feel really good about everything else. And then I have 3 skills that aren't not bad. In fact, they're really easy skills. I just, like, they look slow, and I don't love that. So there's definitely things I need to start drilling more. So it's good to see that now that I was able to break down the choreography sections. So I'm taking like a 3-minute break right now, just let my heart rate fully drop before I start my runs. I'm going to do my 3 rounds, 30-second rests of each section. But again, my body feels good. Not, knock on, there's wood right here. Knock on some wood, it's feeling good. I'm not feeling rather tightness anywhere. I feel really good. And so I'm excited to see how these routine runs go. I did individually record the choreography sections, so by chance it looks a little crazy now that I'm going to start connecting the dots, which if you've been in the choreography world, it's rarely perfect when you start putting it into music. So I was practicing with my music, but you start connecting the dots more, it's harder. Your heart rate's up. You have to think through each individual skill, one thing at a time, right? So you're not rushing and you're clean as you're doing it. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm gonna roll in about a minute here. All right, hi, practice done. Okay, let's break it down. First and foremost, and the most important part of coming out of this, today is the best I have felt physically with my body, walking in and walking out of practice. Like, aches, pains, not feeling that. I feel really good, and that is fantastic. So, huge win, and a win for, like, I did go through the choreography. I had a long warm-up. I went through the choreography. I went through my skill set, and then I did my routine runs, and I did not hold back on the routine runs. In my routine, there's only one single skill I'm not throwing, and it has to happen this week. That's my backflip. My tuck. I will get back to it. That's it though. Everything else thrown, hits. I said this before, she ain't cute. But we're doing it. And I'm happy. I'm happy to have gotten some runs under my belt with the choreography, because again, that changes the game when you start weaving in and out these moments, as I mentioned during practice. So I'm super, super happy with that. I obviously, watching it back, like when I spliced it together, I pick my best of 3 runs. And here's the thing, there's always probably going to be 1-2 things in that run that you don't love. At this point, right? I mean, coming up on 12 weeks out, I'm pretty thrilled with running thirds in a row, bop, 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 with only 30 seconds of rest, hitting every skill, and at a minimum getting at least 1. Most of my sections, I'm getting 2 really solid runs, where maybe I have, like, I wouldn't call it a bobble, but it's like, ooh, I should have pointed my toes, or I could have extended my legs more. Things like that. Small, meaningful, impactful. Don't get me wrong. We gotta do the things. But I'm happy with that. So, win, right? Like, we're thrilled. Overall, I feel like I'm in a good place. I mentioned this before. I'm going to be running full outs already. Is that real? I don't think so. I don't think it's good for my body. I don't think I need to be there yet. And I have said this before, but starting very soon, not next week, the week after. Yeah, not next week, the week after. I will be going to 3 days practice. So I'm essentially, at a minimum, I'll have 5 hours a week of practice, if not 6. We'll call it 2 hours a piece, but I'm sure some of them will end up being about an hour and a half. And just get that alone, like getting those reps in, it's important. I'm enunciating because it is that, hear me out, it is that important. Runs. And they don't need to be full runs, but they need to be runs where you're keeping your heart rate elevated, runs where you're practicing your skill set, you're hitting your skill set, and you're gaining confidence. I say this in my classes often. Confidence comes from repetition. That's it. Just keep doing it. So I'm actually, as tough as I know it becomes when I start going to 3 days of practice, I am excited because I also know when I go to 3 days of practice, my endurance just skyrockets. It's already starting to. Today, my max heart rate went to 174, and I mentioned the other week it went all the way up to 190, and that's great. I mean, to be in thirds at the time, I think that was my first day of doing thirds, maybe, when it went to 190. So we're happy. Good stuff overall. So I'm on my way home now. I'm going to hang with Hazel. We'll probably have like a half hour at home before we have to leave for an event. Go check on the baby girl. Something else I wanted to make mention of, I haven't decided yet how much I'm going to share on this side. I am going to start talking about body composition. The reason why I'm like wish-washy on how much do I share, do I not share, I don't like comparison. And I think when you start sharing things along these lines, sometimes you get the comparison land. I know I do. I'd be lying to say I don't. It's hard not to, but and I also never want anybody, whether you compete or maybe you're a member of mine, an athlete of mine, I never want you to compare yourself to where I'm at, because you can't compare your day 1 to someone's, day 1000 or whatever in the journey they've been on. And especially when we start talking about what our bodies are composed of, everybody's body shape is different, and the way their body develops is different, and the way they hold muscle is different. And I think that matters before I say this. So anyways, I mentioned before, I'm not somebody who does an in-body every 2 weeks. That's not my MO. I do not recommend that to the average person at all, because one, it's really hard to see change in a very short amount of time like that. Two, it becomes obsessive. And just like the scale, you have to know when to draw the line. With what I do in competing, frankly, you have to be a little obsessive about it. But regardless, I don't usually in my season, I would do an InBody once every 4 weeks. Because we're in the middle of our 60-day challenge, I am doing the same thing my team is doing, meaning I need to do, not need to, but I can't, if I'm gonna talk about these things to my people, I have to practice what I preach. And so I'm telling everybody, like, this is the halfway point. Get on InBody, reassess. And so the nice thing is I have an InBody from the very beginning of my prep. I have an InBody from the beginning of 60XT. I have an InBody from 4 weeks into my prep. I now have an InBody today, halfway through 60XT, which puts me at the 6-week mark of my prep. Follow along, yeah? Positive, very positive InBody. I need to roll it back to confirm this. I'm pretty certain. And I knew this before. I knew my body composition looked different, but I'm holding more muscle than I ever have, and that's thrilling. I said I was hoping that my body fat percentage had fallen under 18%, and we're starting to get into the very clear teens, and I am, and that's exciting. And just from the beginning of my prep to now, I've lost about 4 pounds of fat, and I've gained a couple pounds of muscle. And I know usually that doesn't happen. However, the training is different, and I don't necessarily think I've grown all this new muscle tissue. I think over the years of doing everything, once you develop muscle tissue, it's there with you. It's just waking up the muscle fibers and allowing them to fill back out. And when I'm looking at my photos, my check-in photos, my posing photos, it's becoming very evident that I am holding a different body shape than I ever have. And I'm thrilled about that. I'm hoping, I know I've said this in the past, but my legs always come in last. And the exciting thing to me, it's small, but I'm starting to see leg lines. And at 12 weeks out, I have never, ever seen that before. And so it's just, to me, it feels very much like we're going to see a different package. And two, as I mentioned, I believe in the last video, I'm not trying to arrive at the goal weeks in advance. I don't want to come in flat. And as a natural athlete, I think I've also said this before, you start making crazy decisions and crashing on your nutrition and chasing a number, you will fall flat. And I don't mean fall flat in terms of like your performance is going to be terrible. I mean, your body starts looking flat and you start losing muscle aggressively. And I'm really trying to play the long, slow game here. And I'm working on my patience, because again, it's hard not to compare yourself to other people. It's hard not to compare yourself to your previous self even. And so every day, every moment I check myself, I have to keep reminding myself of those things. But I'm really, really happy with my InBody today. I'm thrilled with where I'm at. I think I'm exactly where I need to be at. I don't need to be pushing harder at this point. I'm just going to continue to stay in my lane. I will, not this week, but next week, I will be adding in that 3rd day of practice, which is a lot of expenditure coming in. I'm having a little bit of a change on my class schedule. So 2 of my classes, instead of essentially being MB360, which is the class where I'm doing it, I'm coaching it, but it's movement, it's activity, and my heart rate does get into zone 1, 2 during it. I'm going to be going into GTX and Alpha during those times, 2 of them, which means I'm coaching it on my feet, but my output's not as high. So I'm going to use 1 or 2 weeks of switching over to 3 days of practice, and likely I'm going to add 1 day of 20-minute incline walking. I'm going to give that a week or 2 and see how it fares, and then start to make some decisions if I need to start adding some more cardio in, just because I'm losing the activity. But again, routine practice is, it's hard, and it's my body develops exponentially faster when I'm doing this stuff. And there might be science to prove this, I don't know. But I think the things you used to do when you were younger I've heard this before. Your body remembers, and it usually is going to remember those movement patterns. It's going to like that. Your body's just going to come back to a shape that's going to support the things that you're doing. And so when again, even in the short few weeks I've been doing this, I'm seeing my body change a lot. And I do believe that's not just training volume, that's routine work, holding weight in my hands and jumping around and doing all these things again. So doing 3 days a week, I'm assuming, is just going to amplify that more. So that's, somebody stopped very fast in front of me. That's, thank you, car. I appreciate that. I've been at, just a side note, I've had a car totaled in the past in 2024. Actually, a month after Ben Weeder, for those of you friends here, I got hit. It was scary. I was driving and it was a very, very icy night here, and somebody came around a turn. It was a slow moving road, meaning like, oh yeah, these people stopping. 25 miles per hour type of road, but they lost control. They came way too hot around the corner, and I was on the straightaway. I tried to go into the grass as far as I could, but it didn't matter. Their car fishtailed and slammed right into mine. And I feel like every time I hear that noise, I have a little bit of, because I just remember what that impact was like when I got hit. But it did total my car. It was very, very scary. But I bought the same car, or I got the same car because that car kept me very safe. And even though it was impactful, it honestly felt like a bumper car. Like it was great. So I don't ever wish for anybody to be in a car accident, but I guess side note, now you know a little more about me. It's something I've been through. I don't even remember what I was talking about before. No, I got sidetracked. Okay, going to 3 days practice, all that good stuff. Okay, we'll catch back up at another time in here. I'm home now. I'm gonna go love on this pup before I get her to the bed. So we'll talk later. Bye. Okay, it's turned into being a day. We're home, so let's just talk about how this went. One, Miss Hazel does not have Lyme disease. That was actually a big concern. She has been, in fact, bitten by a couple ticks as of recent. Thankfully, that came back negative. Great. We got her new food. We got her on some medications to help her belly for a couple days, hoping that she starts not being so sick. And so we get, I think I said this before, we get Farmer's Dog, and the recipe options changed recently. So we put her on this grain food, and it's just been a mess for the last 3 weeks. Like we're not doing great. In the last couple days, it's been exceptionally bad. So we just received though another shipment. So took that shipment, which is totally fresh, fine food if your dog can tolerate it, and did donate it to a humane society, or an animal shelter rather. So great, did that. So took Hazel. The vet always just, it takes forever. They're great, but I got there at 3:20-ish, and I didn't walk out till 5. I want to say like 10 after 5. I want to say 10 after 5. So and this is common. Every time we have to go, it's just like, and then we had to go to pick up her medicated food. She's going to eat for a couple days until the new food comes in. Yeah, you. And then I donated her food. And then it's rush traffic hour. It is rush hour, and where I live, it's just congested during this time. So now we're home. My throat has been a little scratchy today. Now my head hurts, and I'm just ready to eat, shower, and be horizontal. So I'm about to do that, which I never really show my food, and you can't even see the veg because it's packed underneath the rice. But I have a bunch of vegetables, Mediterranean veg, so cauliflower, squash, red pepper, asparagus, artichokes, onion, good stuff really. 4 ounces of chicken, a cup of cooked rice, and I'm trying out this new hummus that I got. It's great. It's garlicky, caramelized onion, and it has cooked chickpeas, tahini, water, lemon juice, garlic, onions, citric acid, and fruit, like extracts from fruit, oregano, and flaxseed. So I'm excited to try that. I went to make my dinner, and Hazel eats, right? I'm making my dinner. I'm making my lunch for tomorrow, which is the exact same thing as dinner. And then I've been giving Hazel a bland diet, chicken and rice. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to put her kibble in with some rice. So I get her bowl ready. I have the rice cooked right next to her bowl. And I mean, I made a lot of rice. Got up at my regular time. I don't want to say early. I got up at my regular time this morning, but I made a lot of rice this morning in the rice cooker. Quick way out. So I just popped the lid on the rice cooker, threw her in the refrigerator, called it a day. So I have the rice cooker bowl here, Hazel's bowl here. I go to pour the kibble in her bowl, and I poured it into the whole thing of cooked rice, like perfectly fine rice. And I contemplated for a moment, like, oh, I can save this. It's dog kibble. We're done. It's done. We can afford to make more rice in our life. It's just the point. I just went to the store to buy more rice, and now I'm going to have to burn rice again because my life is rice. Anyways, that's my Thursday. So I'm going to go eat food. I'm going to go lay with Hazel for a little bit. We were out and about for a while, so usually we get up and we walk after dinner. She's already starting to pass out. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna shower, I'm gonna get my life ready for tomorrow, and I am calling it a day because we are exhausted. All right, happy Thursday. Hi, it is Sunday, April 26th. I'm on my way to practice. Last night was fantastic. Good food. Oh my gosh. I like Texas Roadhouse. It's just such a vibe. It's a vibe. But steak's always really good there. And so I had a 6-ounce sirloin. No, not sirloin. A 6-ounce filet. I get the Dallas filet. I like that one. It's just very tender and lean. And green beans, and I had a Caesar salad with the dressing on the side, so I put on like half of the dressing. And then we did get an appetite, like a combo appetizer, so picked out a couple different things, which was nice just to have some bites of some different things. I had one roll with the cinnamon butter, which was so good, and then I wanted ice cream. That was like just been having, not craving's an intense word in my opinion. I wouldn't say that, because I feel like when you have a craving, it's hard to put that to the side. I wouldn't say that. I've just kind of wanted ice cream lately. So we went to Menchie's, which I couldn't even tell you the last time I had a Menchie's. So we went to Menchie's, and 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I like the cake batter, frozen yogurt there. And then I added some chocolatey things on because I want chocolate. So all in all, really good. I felt I mentioned this prior, and I'm gonna reiterate this because next weekend we have, it's actually a really big date night for us, which I'm so excited for. We're taking a cooking class, and this has been on the books for some time, but I also knew going into next weekend that might be my last scheduled Saturday treat meal. Might. And I use might because you never know how things are going to come in. But as I believe I mentioned before, once I got to about 11 weeks out, which next week will be 11 weeks out, those started coming every 10 days. And then it started becoming, when do you feel like you need it? Like a mental reset moment. And I did feel like going into that yesterday, I did feel like mentally I needed that just break for the evening, for that meal, whatever. So anyways, just to come back to that, it just mentally felt like a good break yesterday. And then today, this morning, my scale weight was only 0.8 higher than yesterday. That's it. Like, so not any significant change at all, considering, again, everything that I did have yesterday.
But that tells me, just like last week, which is so interesting, because I would say last week was the first time I really went for it, like burger, fries, dessert. My body's soaking it up, and I think sometimes we get so hyper focused on the goal that we forget, like, those moments your body kind of needs it sometimes. And I do take these moments when I'm seeing this happen, and I said this earlier, like, my body adjusted massively in the past week. Just, I look so, we're back, you dropped. Anyways, I look so vastly different than I did 1 week ago, which is crazy. But I think, one, again, consistency matters, as I mentioned, but two, it's that those moments sometimes your body just needs that break so that it can keep doing its thing going forward. And I think I allowed that to happen last weekend, and I'm really excited to see how my body's going to respond this week, given that. What's going to be interesting on the week ahead, so my cycle is very consistent within about 2 days. So for me, that means my cycle could start anywhere between likely Saturday and Monday. And when I get to my cycle, I retain more water. And so I'm interested to see how I feel, especially next weekend coming to practice, how I feel, because the last time this happened, I had not such a great practice. So we'll see. I'm also, not that I expect it to change anything, but I am having my labs done on Saturday. So anyways, we'll talk more about the week ahead. But this was cool. This was great. I did do check-in pictures today, which I was on the fence of. I've been really terrible about taking them first thing in the morning dry, which I need to get better about it, because that will change things. So I took them after breakfast, after coffee, after water. But I haven't shared really any. I think once I've shared like a check-in photo of sorts, but I'll show my front pose here. Hi, there you go. The left picture, the one closest to me, is very start, and the one on the opposite side next to it is going to be today. And I'm thrilled. Again, this is after eating, after drinking. Lighting's kind of crappy because it's not, I get natural light, but the sun hasn't really come up too much yet. So that was taken at 10:15. Literally, this video is at 10:55 right now. So the picture on the right hand side that you're seeing, I think it's your right, I don't know, could be your left, I forget how this switches around. It was taken like 40 minutes ago. So I'm thrilled. Going into practice now and massively excited. So I have a goal. I mentioned this before. We're flipping today. So watch it happen. We're flipping today. I want to, though, I'm going to do this just a little bit different. Warm up, do the whole thing, feel good about it. I want to run sections, but I'm not going to run my sections yet at the beginning, like the hard endurance sections. I want to do quarters, and I want to get very clean cut versions of them. So I'm not planning to gas myself. I want to review choreography. There's a thing or two I want to look at, but then for the sake of my visualization, I want to get a very, very, very clean spliced version of my routine today. So that is my overall goal with my backflip. So every skill is in there. I just think that's going to help me continue to map out what needs to be adjusted, if anything, where I'm looking a little bit weaker, and where we might need to consider the choreography, or does it look choppy. So that's the goal today. I feel great. I slept well. I ate a lot yesterday, so I am fueled. And my body's, we're doing the thing. I said this early in the week. I've been feeling great, and I'm ready. I feel that, especially going into, I feel like I'm always ready. But I feel just overall in a good mental space. today heading into this one. So I might share videos at practice. I will share the flip. Well, let's share the flip. Let's hold some accountability here because I am going to do the flip today and it's going to be great. And then we'll check in after practice. Hi. All right, we're done practice. Did you see it? Did you see it? Let's run the tape back. Ah, right? We did it. I'm so happy. It was good today, and I'm proud of myself for throwing the tuck because that's something, as I mentioned, just like the aerial, I was nervous about and holding back on it. Not because I can't do it. I can, and what I say, it's gonna feel easier. It did feel easier. I'm thrilled. I'm so happy. I did it in a routine. Obviously, there's always going to be opportunity to clean things up, but I'm just so happy that happened today. So I think I did 2 with Donnell, and then like him standing there type of situation. Anybody ever does anything for me, it's just like a mental thing. And then I threw it, and I threw it in routine. Great, check the box. Sections look great, especially the 3rd and the 4th. I did it in smaller chunks, as I mentioned I was going to, so I could visually really see this routine and how it's coming together. And so I'm happy with that. And then we took a lot of time in one section specifically and really collaborated to level out how my body is moving and what looks right on my body. And sometimes that takes time to iron out, and I like the direction it's in right now. You know, I'm learning some new ways for my body to move. And I can't expect to be a pro at it in day 1, which is what I try to be. But I said this before, humbling times, right? When you learn a new skill. So, but it was great. Donnell had a lot of good little nuggets this past practice to share with me, and we left it. I asked him very specifically. I said, okay, so I've got basically 6 days ahead of me before I see you again. What do you want me to focus on for the choreography? So I was a little bit more specific in what can I do. And Tuesday this week, I'm going to, after work, spend 30 minutes just to work on the choreography, not to do skill work, but on a hard floor, see how I'm moving, spinning, doing the things that are happening on my feet more than anything else, which I think is important because I know what skills feel like on hard floor, but when it comes to new ways to move my body in choreography, I think it's actually, now that I say this, I'm reflecting on it, I think it's really important that I start to hone in on those things sooner than later on hard floor. So that's the plan. That's the only change I'm going to make to Tuesday with practice. But overall, it was great. So I'm happy. Body feels good once again. Little tightness, but I've said this before, we're really pushing flexibility. This whole routine is a massive showing of flexibility. There's quite literally nothing that isn't like kick to your head, kick to the, like split to the ground. Everything is just, if it's not a straight line, I don't want to do it. And it's just honing on the technique more so than anything else, and why I'm doing it that way this year. So good stuff. So I went to the store. Let me back up. After practice, I drank a protein shake. I had 2 That's It bars just to refuel. I know I've mentioned before, my stomach I'm not super hungry post practice, but I also know I need to refuel. So I had my protein shake, about 35 grams of protein, creatine, and I had 2 That's It bars. Refuel, a little bit of carb, glycogen. And I went to the store, organic store, grabbed some meat for the week. I am stopping to get gas right now, so I don't have to do that later / tomorrow or drive to work on fumes. And then it's such a nice day out. I'm sure you can see it right now. It's beautiful. It's 62 degrees. So just a chill rest of the day, get life together for the week, prep all my breakfasts and shakes, and as always, laundry. Just make sure life can be as smooth as possible as I head into the week ahead. So I think this is probably going to be a shorter one, but we are moving forward. We're happy with where it's at, and we are officially less than 12 weeks out. Again, I'm going to keep putting an asterisk on it until I get the green light from Rael, but if we're in Chicago, we are just shy of 11 weeks out and just shy of 14 weeks out from Toronto, and so on if the season continues. So I'll see you later.